Before you even think about skipping ahead, stay with me for a moment. What I'm about to share in the next few seconds can completely change the way a woman sees you. Most men will never hear this idea. They spend their entire lives talking to women in ways that quietly destroy attraction without ever realizing it. But you're here, which means you're about to learn something most men never do. Welcome to Lauren Ponce. If you stay with me until the end, you'll walk away with something practical you can actually use tonight. Words that can stay in her mind long after the conversation is over. Take a breath, stay focused, and if you're enjoying this, make sure you like the video and subscribe. Also, I'm curious, where are you watching from? Drop it in the comments below. Now here's something most men don't realize. Women don't fantasize about the man who tries the hardest. They become intrigued by the man who understands the emotional triggers of curiosity. Compliments can be powerful, but only when they touch the emotional layer women keep protected. But when a compliment feels personal, unexpected, and emotionally specific, something shifts in her mind. She doesn't just hear it, she feels it. And that feeling lingers. It circles in her thoughts long after the moment passes. Men often underestimate how deeply women process language. A woman's emotional awareness lights up when a man notices something she believed no one was paying attention to. People often say women are complicated, but the reality is simpler. Women are emotionally perceptive in ways most men were never taught to recognize. When you learn to compliment a woman through emotion instead of appearance, you unlock a reaction inside her that she may not even fully understand herself. There are 3 compliments that create this reaction. Once you understand them, surface-level praise starts to feel empty. These aren't cheesy pickup lines or manipulative tricks. They're honest observations expressed in a way that touches something meaningful inside her. And when delivered naturally, they can stay in her mind long after you've walked away. Before revealing the first one, you need to understand something important. The power doesn't come from the words alone. If you repeat them without genuine energy behind them, they lose their effect. Women don't respond to memorized phrases. They respond to the emotional atmosphere a man creates. The first compliment is surprisingly simple. I love the way your mind works. When a woman hears this, something inside her pauses. Her thoughts slow down. Her defenses soften. You're not praising her appearance or physical features, the things strangers constantly comment on. Instead, you're recognizing something deeper, something she has spent her life developing. Women crave emotional recognition far more than physical validation. By appreciating the way she thinks, her creativity, her intuition, her perspective, you're acknowledging a part of her identity. Many men say things like, "You're smart," but that feels flat and generic. It's easy to forget. When you genuinely express admiration for how her mind operates, it feels personal and intimate. It feels like connection. Women don't fantasize about the man who simply notices their beauty. They imagine the man who truly sees them. And here's where psychology enters the picture. A compliment that sparks curiosity makes her start thinking. She replays past conversations. She wonders which moment made you notice her perspective. She begins to analyze your words. That mental loop keeps pulling her thoughts back to you. A woman wants to feel that her inner world, the one hidden behind her smile, is visible to someone who truly pays attention. When you say you appreciate the way her mind works, you're acknowledging the part of her she protects most carefully. Compliments that spark imagination and emotional warmth plant a seed in her mind. And that seed is difficult to forget. The second compliment reaches an even deeper place because it touches the area where many women feel misunderstood. Every woman carries a private inner world, thoughts she keeps to herself, dreams she hesitates to share, fears she hides behind humor or confidence. When a man reaches that emotional space with the right words, something inside her opens. The second compliment is simple. There's something about your energy that stays with me. To a man, that may sound poetic. To a woman, it feels powerful. Women often wonder how they affect people around them. They question whether they stand out or fade into the background. When you tell her that her energy lingers in your mind, you're telling her she made an impression she didn't even try to create. Notice what's happening here. You're not complimenting her looks. You're not even directly complimenting her personality. You're acknowledging the subtle presence she naturally carries. When she hears this, she feels significant. She feels memorable. And once again, curiosity takes over. She begins wondering which moment created that impression. Was it something she said? A laugh? A glance? That mystery fuels imagination. Women often fantasize about being unforgettable without needing to try. They imagine being the woman who stands out in a man's world even when she's not there. This compliment tells her she already does. Its strength comes from its simplicity. You don't explain it too much. You leave a little mystery. That mystery keeps her thinking about the moment and about you. A woman's imagination is one of the strongest gateways to attraction, and this compliment quietly opens that gateway. The third compliment creates something even deeper, not obsession or desperation, but fascination. And fascination is what keeps someone replaying moments in their mind long after they've passed. This one is softer and more emotionally powerful than most men expect. I feel calmer when I talk to you. A woman may enjoy being called attractive or beautiful, but when you tell her she brings calm into your life, the meaning hits on another level. It tells her she affects you emotionally. Women often want to be a source of peace for the man they care about, not because they want to fix him, but because emotional connection is how many women bond. When you say she makes you feel calm, you're telling her she creates a space where you can relax and be yourself. You're not just looking at her, you're returning to her. Emotionally intelligent women feel this compliment especially strongly because calm is rare in the modern world. Many women understand the silent pressure men carry, the expectations, responsibilities, and stress they often hide. So when you say she brings calm into your world, you're letting her see a side of you that most people never notice. That kind of honesty creates emotional intimacy. It feels safe, genuine, and grounded, and that safety opens the door for deeper attraction. Once she realizes she affects you emotionally, not just visually, something shifts. She begins to replay your conversations, remembering the way you spoke and how you looked at her. Now she understands she has an impact on you that goes beyond appearance, and that emotional influence is exactly the type of connection women long for with a man they truly respect. When a woman experiences a strong emotional moment during a conversation, her mind naturally connects that feeling to the man who created it. Psychologists often refer to this as emotional imprinting. When a feeling, especially one that's warm, comforting, or intimate, becomes tied to a memory, she begins to associate that emotional state with the person who sparked it. Over time, she may even start wanting to be around the person who made her feel that way again. This is why you don't have to rely on flashy charm, over-the-top romance, or exaggerated confidence. What actually matters is speaking with emotional clarity. Women aren't searching for perfection. What they truly respond to is resonance. They remember the moment when a man says something that feels genuine, something that sounds like it comes from real awareness rather than a rehearsed line. Most men never learn this. They focus on impressing, performing, or showing off. But the most attractive thing about a man often isn't what he does. It's how a woman feels when he talks to her. When she senses that she's understood, attraction begins to grow naturally. There's no need to force it. Another thing many men overlook is that words alone rarely create a lasting impression. What makes them powerful is the emotional atmosphere surrounding them. Women don't daydream about isolated sentences. They remember moments. And those moments are shaped by tone, presence, timing, and authenticity. That means you can't rush compliments. You can't toss them out casually the way most people do with generic praise. They need to feel like simple truths you're expressing, not lines you're trying to deliver perfectly. A woman's intuition is extremely sharp. She can instantly sense when a man is exaggerating, acting, or trying too hard. But she can also feel when someone is speaking from a calm, grounded place. And that's when her emotional barriers begin to soften without her even noticing. The reason certain compliments stay with her is because they don't sound needy or desperate. They're not attempts to gain approval or persuade her to like you. Instead, they simply reflect how you genuinely experience her. That subtle difference between trying to get something from her and simply noticing something about her is what separates you from most other men she meets. Attraction for women tends to grow through connection rather than pressure. When she feels that you're observing her energy, paying attention and understanding her without trying to control the interaction, she naturally feels drawn closer. It creates a pull that's hard for her to explain, yet impossible to ignore. That emotional pull is what makes her replay your words later in her mind. But there's an important truth many people miss. Emotional influence doesn't come from performance. It comes from presence. When you speak slowly and calmly, putting intention behind your words, they settle into her mind rather than passing by unnoticed. When your eye contact feels natural and confident, not forced or intense, she senses sincerity. Women often respond more to subtle signals than dramatic gestures. Your energy matters just as much as the things you say. If you're grounded, she feels safe. If you're centered, she feels comfortable opening up. If you're sincere, she feels recognized. Without that kind of presence, even the most thoughtful compliment can feel empty. But when it's there, even a few simple words can linger in her thoughts long after the conversation ends. The reality is that women tend to remember how someone made them feel far longer than the exact words that were spoken. When the right words are paired with genuine presence, you become someone she won't easily forget. Now here's something deeper that many men never fully understand. This isn't about memorizing clever lines or scripted compliments. It's about becoming the type of man whose words naturally carry meaning. Women don't fantasize about a man simply because he said one impressive thing. They're drawn to the overall way he communicates, when his voice, tone, and awareness reveal depth and emotional intelligence. When your presence feels steady, when your attention feels genuine, and when your energy is intentional, every compliment you give becomes far more impactful. At the core of it all, women are drawn to emotional certainty. They want to sense that the man standing in front of them isn't fragile, reactive, or desperate to impress. They want to feel that he knows himself and stands comfortably in who he is. That's why these kinds of compliments are powerful when they come from a grounded place. They don't just describe her. They reveal something about you. They show that you're attentive. They show that you appreciate more than appearances. They show that you can recognize emotion without being controlled by it. And when a woman feels emotionally acknowledged, something interesting happens. She begins to see you differently as well. She starts imagining what it might feel like to trust you, to share more of herself, to move closer emotionally. A man who notices her thoughts, her energy, and the impact she has on the world becomes someone she instinctively wants to be around, not because he's flawless, but because he offers a level of connection she rarely experiences. This is how emotional attraction really begins. Not through dramatic displays or exaggerated praise, but through quiet moments when she realizes you understand something about her that others usually overlook. Once that realization appears, it tends to grow. It stays in the back of her mind. Long after the conversation is over, she might find herself wondering what else you noticed, what else you sensed, what else you might be thinking about her. And once that cycle begins, it creates its own momentum. Instead of forcing attraction, it naturally draws her toward you. So when you use compliments like these, do it with awareness, authenticity, and presence. The goal isn't manipulation, it's connection. When you approach it that way, you become the kind of man she remembers even in a crowded room. The man she quietly compares others to. The man who crosses her mind during quiet moments when she's alone with her thoughts.
And if you want more insights like this, real psychology, deeper understanding, and practical tools that can genuinely transform your relationships, make sure you like this video and subscribe to Lauren Ponce. You're only beginning to discover how powerful communication can become once you truly learn how to speak the emotional language women respond to.